Hello, I'm Brian Treese, President and CEO of the Findlay-Hancock County Community Foundation. On behalf of our donors, board, staff, volunteers, and community partners, thank you for participating in this webinar. Congratulations on taking this next step in your educational journey. Whether you're planning to attend a 2- or 4-year college or university, a technical or trade school, work on a graduate degree, or engage in another educational opportunity, we congratulate you and look forward to seeing what the future holds for each and every one of you. You are the best and the brightest our community has to offer. Congratulations. It is my pleasure to introduce Andrea Clements. Andrea serves as the database and financial specialist for the foundation and will be leading the rest of this webinar. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for attending tonight's webinar. As Brian said, my name is Andrea Clements. I'm the database and financial specialist here at the Findlay-Hancock County Community Foundation. And our communications director, Jenna Freed, is also present for tonight's webinar. Jenna is actually going to be moderating our Q&A portion. So what I'd like to do to get started is just do a few housekeeping things here. We are going to be using the Q&A function in today's session. Like I said, everybody's muted as participants. And so if you have a question that comes up as I'm starting to go through the application or the registration process, please go ahead and put it in the Q&A portion. And every now and again throughout the presentation tonight, I will pause. Jenna is going to let me know if there are any questions, and we will periodically address them throughout the evening. As you may be aware, the webinar is going to be recorded. We're recording it right now. It is going to be available then on our scholarship resources page, along with some other tutorials and other information for your benefit. And that information can be found on our website, which is www.community-foundation.com. So before we get into the application, I did want to talk just a little bit about our scholarships here at the Community Foundation. So we administer approximately 140 scholarships, and these scholarships are mostly awarded to students that are living in Hancock County. Our scholarships touch all areas of study, including trades, 2-year and 4-year undergraduate studies, graduate school, that type of thing. And they do represent all ages of students as well. So if you're a graduating senior, there are plenty of scholarships out there for you. If you are a current college student, if you're an adult who is going back to school after a break, or if you're getting a graduate degree. So we do have a wide variety of scholarships that are available. And our scholarships have a range of academic requirements as well. So some have no GPA requirement at all. They are more interested in your activities, maybe even your work history. And then others do have GPA requirements that are from 2.0 and all the way up. And so like it says at the bottom of this slide here, there really is a scholarship for you. So we're really thankful that there's a wide range of individuals that are on this webinar with us tonight, and hopeful that you will find this process easy and that you'll find it helpful as you are moving on towards college. And then what we're really going to be focusing on tonight is our universal application. So what does that even mean? So if you guys have been looking at or applying to other scholarships already, what you may know is that most scholarships have separate applications. So you fill out one application for each scholarship. It takes time for you to organize and submit everything, and then you need to keep track of each of those individual scholarships that you've applied for any essays or anything like that that might need to be submitted. What we have done is we have worked with a technology company, and we have created what's called a universal application. So it means you're going to be able to fill out one application. The answers that you put in that application are going to determine whether or not you qualify for those 140 scholarships that we administer here. As some of you may know, our universal application opened yesterday at noon. We do already have some draft applications and some submitted applications. So tonight you are in the right spot to get your start on that as well. And once you've submitted this universal application, you will automatically get a list of scholarships that you are qualified for here at the Community Foundation. You'll see that in just a little bit tonight. And you'll also see that there may be some additional items that need to be submitted for individual scholarships at that time. So again, you're going to see this kind of towards the end, but I just want to make sure you understand the universal application is going to kind of tell you what you qualify for, and then you will want to pay attention and see if there are any additional letters of recommendation or essays that go along with individual scholarships that you have qualified for. The universal application is going to close on February 2nd. So you have almost exactly 2 months to work on this. It does go over the holiday break as well. So maybe you'll have a little bit of time to pull some things together during that time. But February 2nd is when your universal application is due, and all of those extra supplemental materials that I just referred to are due. Now, throughout the application, you're going to see you will go ahead and request a transcript from your guidance counselor if you're a current high school student. You guys just know that your guidance counselors are actually going to have until February 16th to submit your transcript. And then your individuals that are writing your letters of recommendation will also have until February 16th. So you all have stuff due on February 2nd. Then we give your guidance counselors and those people who are doing letters of recommendation for you another extra 2 weeks just for them to get everything in. If you have any questions about that, you can let me know. So the other thing that I want to offer is we are on the web tonight. So that typically means that you guys are on a computer, maybe you are on some sort of an iPad. If you would like to do this, you can actually watch and listen to this webinar and also kind of go along with the steps of registration as we're doing it. I'm going to go ahead and have Jenna put into the chat function the link to the scholarship site. So you'll actually be able to click on that link if you would like to, and then you can kind of keep me in your ear and go back and forth so you can see what I'm doing, but then you can actually get a start on it if you would like to. So I'm going to go ahead and just dive in. So one of the things here, I'm going to go to our website. So Community-Foundation, and the homepage of our website is right here. If you go on over to scholarships and you click on scholarship opportunities, just scroll down here, you are going to see where it says universal application. And this little blue button says apply today. You will click on that blue button and it is going to take you to the logon page. Now, your logon page is not going to say sandbox behind it. This is actually my practice area that I can do all of this in, so I'm not officially applying for a scholarship like you guys will be. But it's going to take you to a page that looks exactly like this. I want to walk you through this page just real quick so you can see what's on here. So if you look over to this side, there is a video tutorial that's going to give you a little bit of a heads up on how to register. If you have already applied in the past for a Community Foundation scholarship, you actually can go ahead and just put your email address and your password in that you used before. If you are a new user, you're going to click on create new account, which we will do in just a second. If you don't really know, if you kind of think maybe I did this, but maybe I didn't, I don't know for sure, my email address is right here. Just go ahead and send me a quick email and I can go ahead and let you know whether or not you already have an account. So today, for today's purposes, I'm going to assume that most of you are new users. So we're going to create a new account. And anything on this next page that has an asterisk beside it is required. So that's what I'm going to do for sake of time tonight. That way we don't take up too much time. So we're going to go ahead and register as a test candidate. The next thing that's required is an email, or which will ultimately be your username. So if you see here in red, we're just requesting that you please do not use your high school email address. So many of you are going to be, who are on this call, are graduating high school seniors. So if you use your high school email address, and then we need to get a hold of you when you're a freshman, sophomore, or junior in college, specifically if you are awarded a renewal scholarship, we will not be able to get in touch with you. So I want you to go ahead and use an email address that is different than your school email address if you have that set up. So then you're going to go ahead and confirm your email address. You'll put your mobile number in. You'll put your address. I am making all of this up, but obviously you'll put your correct stuff in. And then we're going to hit next. It's going to ask you to create your own password. I actually will not have access to your password. So whatever password you create, you need to go ahead and write that down. If you do forget your password, what you're going to do is on that login page, you'll be able to say forgot password. So just pretty typical. And then I'm going to hit create account. So this is a safety feature for us basically. And what we're doing here is we want to make sure that you're going to receive emails from our system. And so once you do that registration, our system is actually going to send an email to the email address that you used. So if you don't see it in your inbox, take a look in your junk, make sure that you see that email. And then once you have seen it, you go ahead and click, I have received the email. So I am going to pause here for just a moment and see if there are any questions about the registration process alone.
Andrea, we do have one question. A student asked, what if you are getting an invalid format with your email address?
Okay, so the system itself is telling you that the email address you're putting in is invalid. Is that what, I assume that's what you're saying?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so one, I would double check the spelling of your email address, and also if there are any accidental spaces, anything like that. And it does need to make sure that you have the at and then the correct, after part of it as well. If you continue to have issues with that, please send me an email and I would like to work through that with you outside of tonight, just to make sure that everything is good to go. Any other questions?
That's all I see for now.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and continue. I do see that somebody put in the chat here at gmail.com, at yahoo.com, etc. So I'm not sure what that means, but you will need to include the at gmail.com and at yahoo.com portion of your email address. Yes. I'm going to hit continue. And it's going to take just a moment here. And when you hit continue, it is going to automatically take you to our apply page. That's great for your purposes right in this moment, because this little blue button is the golden button. That is the button you're going to push to start your application. Before we do that, though, I'm going to go ahead and click this home button up here. When you click the home button, this is what is called your applicant dashboard. So this is the place where you are going to be able to see any applications that have additional materials that are due. You're going to be able to see everything that you've submitted throughout the application process. So there's lots of words on here for you to read, but basically we have our website that's available. We have some links here for other tutorials about how to fill out an application. Again, my email address is right there, a phone number to contact me. Please don't hesitate if you're having questions or some difficulty difficulty to contact me. And then tonight, because we're specifically talking about the universal application, I do want you guys to take a look at this portion. Again, just to reiterate, once you've submitted your universal application, you'll be able to see down here, we don't have anything listed right now. There's 0 active requests and there's 0 historical requests. Once you submit it, there will be active requests, hopefully. And some of them will say edit application beside them. That means they are incomplete and that you do need to do some additional materials. If you see view application, that means that it's complete. So I just want to show you that. If you end up on this page, all you need to do is go up to the top, you click apply. It's going to bring you right back to the Findlay-Hancock County Community Foundation Universal Application 2022. And you can apply. So we'll go ahead and do that. As you can see, it's kind of spinning, so give it just a moment to load the application. Okay. So at this moment, it kind of looks like this is a really short application. You can only see one question, and that is by design. So this application is basically going to continue to open up additional portions for you to fill out based on the answers that you're giving on the questions. So the very first question here, are you a child or grandchild of an employee or board member of the Community Foundation? The reason we ask that is because if you are, if you answer yes to this, then you actually will not be eligible for our scholarships. So for tonight's purposes, I'm going to answer no. And then do you see how once I answered no, all of these questions opened up? And that's just the start. So really, as you're going through this application, anything that has an asterisk beside it is required. And I'm just going to say 99% of the questions on this application are required because each one of them is very important to determine which of those 140 scholarships you qualify for. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through this as a test candidate. And I'm going to be a little bit ridiculous in my answers because I want you at the end of this to see a whole bunch of scholarships that this test candidate has qualified for, and then also the list of the scholarships that need additional information from us. So we're gonna go ahead and get a birth date in here. County of residence is a drop down. We're gonna do Hancock County. I'm gonna say I'm a graduating high school senior. You may not have been able to see this, but once the graduating high school senior was checked, then a whole bunch of other information and questions was opened up. The next one here, do you wish to be considered for need-based scholarships? I do want to take just a little bit of time to explain this. And in order to do that, I am going to pull up another page here. I just clicked on that link, and this is a list of all of the scholarships that we have available this year. So if you see this column over to the left, the column name is financial need considered. So any scholarship that has an X in this column is a scholarship that when it goes to committee or evaluation time and our committees are choosing the students that are going to be awarded, if this has an X, that means that they are going to want to take a look at the financial information that you provide in your application. So if you choose yes right here, that means that you are going to have the opportunity to be matched to all scholarships in our database, including those that indicate financial need as a consideration or a requirement. So let me say that again. Some of them say that financial need is a consideration, but still require the financial information to be submitted so that they consider it. and some say that financial need is a requirement. So it's your choice whether or not you want to try to be matched with those that include the financial need portion as well. If you say yes, you are going to be required to fill out your FAFSA to obtain your student aid report. We have a whole page on our website that gives some really good resources about the FAFSA and the student aid report. So you can take a look at that. And then if you say yes in a later portion of this application, which we'll get to here, you'll be required to upload your student aid report and your EFC number, as well as answer just a few financial aid questions. If you say no, then there is going to be no possibility to be matched to any of those scholarships that you just saw that have the X's beside them. So that's one little portion there. I'm just going to keep going through this application here. And some of this is going to take just a moment to get through, but I do need to fill it all out in order to get through the to the end, so you can see how everything works out here. Jenna, while I'm filling this portion out, are there any additional questions that have popped up?
There was one more question that I was able to answer actually. Does
Great.
the scholarship automatically save if you had to leave when working on it? And there is a save application button down at the bottom next to submit. So if you're not ready to submit yet, make sure you hit save. So that is an option to continue working on it.
Thank you.
That's all for now.
All right, so I'm gonna just say no for the second parent or guardian because I don't want to fill that out right now. So because I chose as test candidate that I was a graduating high school senior, the rest of this information came up. So basically, we just need to fill all of this out. So this is a drop down. What high school are you attending? What county is your high school in? So not what county do you live in, but what county is your high school in? What is your high school graduation year? If you are an undergrad student or a graduate student, this actually is required as well. So what year did you graduate from high school? It's going to be asking now for your GPA. High school student test score. So let's spend just a moment on this. So this is a place for you to put your ACT or SAT composite score in. You'll see in red here that there's a note. Definitely in 2021, most colleges and universities did not require the test scores for admission. There are still some colleges and universities in 2022 that are not requiring it. However, if you have taken the ACT or SAT, please put your score in. Our evaluators do take a look at this information as they are evaluating the academic portion of your application. Do you reside in your high school school district, or do you open enroll in that school district? And then we get to the high school transcript request here. So in this area of the application, you're going to be requesting an official high school transcript from your guidance counselor. What you will want to do is enter the email address of your high school guidance counselor down here, and then you're going to click compose to the right. And I'm going to go ahead and do this so you can see how this works. What I've tried to do is include in here a really easy way for you to just copy the words, go ahead and compose this email, put a subject in there. You can paste what I just suggested. Dear counselor. And then put your name. And you hit send. And you'll see that the email was sent. And your guidance counselor is going to get that email, and they are going to know that you have requested your transcript. And they also know the application due date, which is February 2nd, and they know their due date, which is February 16th. So that is how you request your high school transcript. And then they will go ahead and go in and upload that transcript so that it's available to the evaluators. And then you're going to continue to go through all of this portion, high school honors and awards. It really walks you through how we would like you to put that information in here. I'm just going to say I had lots of awards. You would clearly do that a little bit nicer than I did. And then we're going to continue here with high school athletics. Did you participate in athletics in high school? Yes or no? I'm going to put yes. I do see that there are some questions or some stuff in the chat. Does that specifically have to do with transcript, Jenna?
One of them does, yes. Andrea Roth asked, Findlay High School uses parchment for transcripts. Can it be obtained from parchment? And I believe the counselors have to upload a PDF.
That's correct. So you will want to, even though they use parchment, you will want to request that transcript from your guidance counselor. And I am in contact with the guidance counselors from all of the Hancock County schools, so they're aware of that. So yes, please request it through our application, and then they'll upload the PDF. Good question. I am going to go ahead and continue here. So I'm going to say that yes, I did participate in high school athletics. I just want to show this here. Do you see how when I click no, that athletics portion goes away, but when I click yes, the athletic portion pops back up? That's what I mean by each question, not every question, but most questions that are in here are going to lead you into additional questions. And this is what really helps determine in the background what scholarships the system is going to say that you are eligible for. So I'm just going to choose a few of these sports. How many years of sports did you play in high school? So did you only play one of your high school years, 2, 3, 4? I'm going to go ahead and say 4. And then what years did you participate? Obviously, since I said 4, I'm going to click all 4 of them. If you only participated your sophomore and your senior year, you would say 2 up here, and then you would choose sophomore and senior. Did you earn a varsity letter? Yes, I did. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some sports details. Tonight, I'm just going to say lots of details right here so I can move on. And then we're going to talk about our varsity sports. So what sports did you earn a letter in? I'm going to say basketball. I'm going to say golf, and I'm going to say swimming and diving. I think those are the same 3 that I did above. How many different varsity sports did you play? Basically, you just need to count up these individual sports that you got a varsity letter in and put that number down here. I know that seems a little bit redundant, but again, there are some scholarships that say, hey, did you letter in golf? Yes. And then there's another scholarship that might say, any person who has lettered in 2 or more varsity sports. And so it's just kind of the way that we have to build it in order to get everything to talk to each other in the background. So some of these might seem redundant, but please just keep answering the questions. And then how many years of varsity sports have you played? So if you were on the varsity baseball team your sophomore through your senior year, and then varsity basketball team your junior and senior year, you still only played 3 total years of varsity sports, if that makes any sense. Did you participate in a varsity sport prior to your senior year? I'm going to say yes. How many varsity letters did you earn? I'm going to say 3. Did you earn a varsity letter your junior or senior year? Yes. So again, I'm just going to keep going through these.
While you're clicking through, we had another good question.
Yep.
What if there was athletic participation in a sport through a community club rather than through the school? So I'm thinking of organizations like the Findlay Area Golf Association. Should those be included?
So when we're talking about high school sports, we are actually talking about a sport that you did through your high school. If you participated in golf specifically, but you did not participate through your high school in golf, you can go ahead and click that. But really this area is really looking at what you did in high school through your high school. Yeah, I can think of even club soccer. Like some people will play club soccer, but they won't necessarily play varsity, junior varsity or varsity soccer for their high school. That is a very different thing. We are definitely looking for what you have done in high school. Okay, so we just got through the sports portion of everything. Now we're getting into involvements. These 3 questions are going to open up other questions and information if you click yes. So I'm just going to go ahead and click yes. And then do you see how clubs and extracurricular activities showed up? So if I say no, it's not there. If I say yes, then it brings up this whole other spot that I need to go ahead and fill out. I'm going to click yes for church activities, and I'm going to click yes for community. So again, whatever you have participated in, you want to include in this application. And then we're going to go ahead and this portion here, the student aid report. The next portion is in the application because at the very beginning, I said, yes, I want to be included in the need-based scholarships. If I would have said no, these portions, the student aid report, the estimated cost of college, and the family financial assistance portion of the application would not be included, and you would not need to do this. So basically, this is going to walk you through how to some places to look to complete your FAFSA. So again, we're just giving you some links. The FAFSA is a government document that you need to do. So it's not our document, it's through the government. And so we're just trying to give you some tips on where to find it, how to do it, how to download your student aid report and everything. And then you will be required to upload your student aid report to this application. I'm actually going to upload a fake file because it is not going to let me go on if I don't. And then in this student aid report, you are going to have an estimated family contribution number, otherwise known as the EFC. And so you would just take that score and you would put that score right here. So something important for you to know, the student aid report that you are attaching is going to be available to staff at the Community Foundation, but that specific report is not going to be available to evaluators. Your EFC score, however, is going to be available to evaluators. They are going to be able to see that. So I'm going to fill in some information about my first choice school. I should have looked this up before doing this, but I'm going to just put in some basic information here. Family financial assistance. Now, are you as the student financing your own education without help from parents or other individuals? Yes, no, or partially? I'm going to say no. I'm sorry, I'm going to say partially. I am partially financing my own education. So then what we really want you to do is answer how much are you going to be financing? So are you doing 25%, 75%? What are you doing? And then who's going to be helping you? And then any other information about your financial situation that you feel would be important for the evaluators to know. You can put right in that spot as well. And then we're going to get into some post-secondary information. So what college you're planning to attend. We are looking for your top choice, second choice, etc. If you have a top choice, you've been accepted to that top choice, and you know you're going to that top choice, then you just need to fill out the top one. No problem at all. Have you been accepted to your top choice? We're going to say yes, we have. This portion here, you plan to attend or are attending one of the following colleges or universities. So the ones that are listed here, Bowling Green, Ohio State, University of Findlay, Miami, and Ohio Northern, there are actually specific scholarships that go along with those universities. So if you are accepted to and are planning to attend one of those colleges, or you're currently attending, you definitely want to click into here and let us know that. What year are you planning to graduate from college? What year will you be in the upcoming school year? Many of you on this right now are going to be undergrad freshmen in the upcoming school year. Some of you, if you took a lot of college classes in school, might be undergrad sophomores. And then what type of education are you going for? A trade or vocation? Are you going for 2-year, 4-year, some non-traditional adult education? That could be things like EMS school or something like that. Or are you going to graduate, postgraduate? I'm going to go ahead and say 4-year. I'm going to say I'm getting my bachelor's, and I am going to go for social studies. And then I am going to go ahead and minor in math. Why not? Okay. Again, just more questions. As I'm filling this out, Jenna, if there are any other questions and answers or questions that are coming in, just let me know.
We do have one related to selecting your school. The question is, if you're planning on going to one of those colleges, BGSU, et cetera, but it's not your top choice, but one of your top 3, should they still select that?
Yeah, that's interesting. You can still select that. What will happen though is we will need for you to confirm that you are attending that university when it comes to evaluation time, because really we need to know that the person that we are awarding that scholarship to is accepted to and is planning to attend that university. So if you don't know yet, but you're between Bowling Green and University of Findlay, yes, go ahead and click this, and then we may just have a little bit of follow-up that we might have to do.
That's all for now.
Okay. Let's see, college, is it outside of Hancock County? No, because I put University of Findlay. Is it in the state of Ohio? Yes. Will you be enrolled as a full-time student? I did put a little guide here so that you know what a full-time student is. We're going to look at employment. So like I said, some of these scholarships have a GPA requirement, but then also want to see that you have worked, whether or not you have worked during the your high school experience. So have you worked at some point during your high school career? Yes. And then you can go ahead and put in your work experience here. Some want to know if you're currently employed. So are you working in this moment? Yes or no? I'm going to go ahead and put no just to speed along here a little bit. But as you can see, if you click yes, then you have a little bit more information to give us. This portion down here is very aptly named specific scholarship requirements. So this is a whole bunch of check boxes that we really want you to look at pretty carefully, because each of these go along with specific scholarships. So, are you a member or a child of a member of the Hancock Federal Credit Union residing in Hancock County? Hancock Federal Credit Union has a scholarship with us. So if that's true, you would click that. Have you been in currently, or have you previously been in the foster care system? If that is true, you would go ahead and click that. So you really want to look at all of these. Have you been inducted into the National Honor Society? Do you have entrepreneurial aspirations? Are you going for a business degree and your goal in life is to open your own business and be an entrepreneur? Then click that. Are you attending or will you complete a program through Millstream? Please click that. We have 6 scholarships at least that are for students who have graduated from different programs at Millstream and are going into trades. So if you live on an operating farm, there's a scholarship for you as well. Are you participating in music? I'm going to say yes to some of these. Some of them are specific to school. So Again, we're looking at trade. I'm going to a trade school or into a trade job. Go ahead and click that. Trades could be anything from construction to nursing, to being an EMT, a beautician, any kind of trade, a welder, anything like that. You would want to click that. I'm going to say that I attended Leakin Elementary School. And down here, I'm going to go ahead and say again that I was in National Honor Society, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Now, because I clicked that I am in Millstream, now it's going to ask me what Millstream programs did you or will you complete? So I'm just going to go ahead and say culinary arts. I was in the culinary arts program. If it's neither of those, just put your program in here. And then we're going to get to the letter of recommendation. So our universal application does require one letter of recommendation to be submitted. And this is, again, just for the universal portion. There are about 40 scholarships that once you click submit for this universal application are going to ask and require you to submit an additional letter of recommendation. But this is your first one. We're just asking for a general letter of recommendation from a non-family member that is familiar with you. So again, very much like your transcript that we requested up at the top, you can go ahead and copy this information. Put your recommender's email address in there. You're going to click compose email. Make a nice little subject. You can paste my information in there that I provided, or because you know this person, you can paste my information in, and then you can add a nice little personal note as well. And you hit send. And the person that you are requesting a letter of recommendation from is going to get that email. And then they are also going to get an email from our system that gives them instructions on how to submit the letter of recommendation. And then moving on here, again, with our universal application, we do require a general essay to be written. So it is 300 words or less. And each of these essays is going to be read by the evaluators. So like I said here, take your time to thoughtfully and completely answer this question. And basically it's just describe your goals for the future. How do you plan to achieve your goals, and why you believe that you merit assistance from the scholarship committee. That's just our general essay. Take a lot more time to answer it than I just did right there. And then we're down to the bottom here, finalize application. Again, here's just a reminder, this is the general application only. When you sign below and click submit, you're going to see a confirmation page that's going to come up here in just a second for us. It's going to list the scholarships that you're eligible for, and it's going to have a list of scholarships for which you need to complete some additional information. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, I agree. Everything that I put above here is true. I'm going to sign it. And I'm going to go ahead and hit submit application. Before I do that, though, I will just do a little reminder here. Like Jenna said, at any point, if you're filling this out and you need to run off to practice, or you need to do some homework, or you just want a break from doing it, you can always hit save application. I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can click continue here, or you can click on the home button. Oh, it says my parent guardian email has not been answered. Did you all see that? So that's awesome. So it's basically telling me, hold on a second, you did not put in a required piece of information. Okay, thank you, application, for telling me that. Now we're going to go ahead and hit save application. and it says your application has been saved. Again, you can hit continue here. It's going to take you right back to your application. If you didn't want to continue, you could hit the home button. And now you will see that there is an application down here at the bottom for the Findlay-Hancock County Community Foundation Universal Application. And just like it says up here, edit application is right there, which means that it is incomplete. So if you click in there and you edit your application, fill in everything that you need to, and now we're going to submit it. Once I hit submit, this is going to take just a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and address some more chat or questions while this is happening, but it's going to actually be scrubbing our system to see from your answers what scholarships you qualify for. So we'll see here in just a moment what scholarships the test candidate qualified for. So any other questions that have come up in the meantime here, Jenna?
So we did have one more. What is the deadline for any additional requirements? So those additional essays, additional letters of recommendation, things like that, which I think we will see in just a second.
Yes. So the answer to that question is those are due on February 2nd for students. So your universal application and the additional requirements are due on February 2nd.
And a second question that just came in, if we were to forget a piece of information on the application, will we be able to go back and edit it? And I think most of the critical information, it will stop you from submitting the application like we just saw. But any advice on that, Andrea?
Sure. So yes, Jenna, you're right. So if you forget a piece of information in that you don't fill out that space at all, then it's going to prompt you just like it did me. It's going to say, hey, wait a second, this is a required field. You need to go back and do that. If you are suggesting that you filled out the application and you hit submit, and then you figured out that your parents are members of Hancock Federal Credit Union, but you did not click that, you will not be able to edit that application. You can contact me and I can see about editing the application and adding that in from an administrator perspective, but you will not be able to edit that. So be very intentional as you're going through this so that you are taking your time. That's partly why we give the 2 months, because you'll have plenty of time to do this. Hopefully that answers kind of both sides of that question.
Yes, and she did ask a clarifying question, like if you forget a group that you're in or an award or something like that. And I did include in the chat the information needed to apply document that we've put together for you. And that kind of guides you through before you start your application or when you're in the process. Here are some things to consider. So definitely take a look at that document before you sit down to start it. I think it'll help brainstorm a lot of those things.
Yes, that's a great suggestion. Okay, I'm going to move on here. We will have some more time for questions towards the end. I want to make sure that we're sticking to right about the hour mark. So now you can see we're on the confirmation page. So basically, this test candidate that I created has qualified for all of these scholarships that are listed. So I was, like I said, pretty ridiculous in the amount of stuff that I was saying yes to and adding in, and I was kind of doing it on purpose, knowing some of these scholarships. So all of these scholarships are ones that this person has qualified for. You're welcome to read through the descriptions here. On our website, we have very specific, so you can actually search on our website, the Punk and Martha E. Maines Memorial Scholarship, and you'll be able to see some information there about the scholarship as well. That's really just kind of for your information about the scholarships. But this little portion right here, we will ask for supplemental information for the following. And then it has a list of all of these scholarships that are going to ask you for supplemental information. So that means the additional letter of recommendation that I alluded to, possibly another essay. Some of these, there's a scholarship in here for individuals who have diabetes and they're asking for confirmation of their diabetes diagnosis. So it could be any number of things that we're asking for to continue the application. So what I'm going to do is I am going to hit continue down here at the bottom. So essentially, when you hit continue, this takes you directly into alphabetically those scholarships that need additional information. So you can see here, this is taking you right into the Benjamin R.L. Lund Merit Scholarship. And if you kind of scroll down here, you can see the additional requirement is an additional essay. So I'm just gonna put some information in here. And then I am going to hit submit application. That one's done. So if you see up here, Benjamin R.L. Lund Merit, application submitted. But now we're on to the Bobby Burrell Goff Scholarship right here. And it says application draft here. Now we're looking, okay, looks here like that one requires a second letter of recommendation. So then you would put in obviously a different person than the first one that you did. You would compose your email and you would send it to them. And then you would hit submit application. So let's say that you did your universal application and you really don't want to do all of this right now because you have 10 scholarships that you have additional information that is due. No problem at all. Once you get to this page, you would actually just be able to go right up here to the home screen. And you're going to be able to see every single one of those scholarships now listed underneath the universal application. You're going to be able to see the individual scholarships that you have qualified for. So if you close this one, they all go away. But if you open up the universal application, then you can see tent maker, Vance Kramer, all of that. So again, this is where this portion up here is really important. If you see edit application right here, that means that you have additional information that needs to be submitted. If you see blue or if you see view application, that means that it is completely submitted and you do not have any additional information. So I'm going to go ahead and click in one of these that says edit application. And then you see that that takes us right back to this list. Now this time it's not in alphabetical order because I didn't click in. I clicked into the tent maker one. So it's the tent maker information here. Again, this is a letter of recommendation that they're asking for. Some other things to look for here. You can click on this one, and this is your original application answers. So if you get in here and you think, oh geez, I need to do another letter of recommendation and I can't remember who I asked to do my first one, just click over into eligibility. You'll be able to see all of the answers that you gave. You'll be able to see who you requested the letter of recommendation from. And then when you're ready, you can click back over into the application portion and you can go ahead and do the additional application stuff. So something to see here, this letter of recommendation, if there is already an email address populated below, do not change or delete it. You can skip it. So some of these have a second letter of recommendation that's just kind of a general letter of recommendation that you can request from anybody. So if you qualified for 2 of those scholarships that have this general letter of recommendation, just follow the instructions. If there's an email already down there, don't delete it, don't change it. You can see you already sent that email. You are done with that portion. You just move right on to this essay, do the essay, hit submit, then your application is in. So don't be scared about this applicant dashboard. I mean, you guys are on the internet all the time. You guys are doing stuff online through Google Classroom all the time. Click around in here. You're going to be able to find what you need. If you have a question about something, again, my phone number is here, my email address is here. I've tried to put a lot of information in just so that it can be a little bit self-explanatory, but I do understand that it's a big process. So we're happy to help in any way we can. So that is the end of my portion of everything that I wanted to talk about, but I do understand that there may be some additional questions. So are there additional questions that have popped up here in the meantime?
Yep, we have two more. Can you go back to the active requests page where it shows, if you scroll down just a little bit, maybe?
Yes.
Yep. So this question is about confirmation. Do you get confirmation when your letters of recommendation or transcripts are uploaded? And I believe that's the third party section.
That is the third party section. That's a great question. So let's take a look here at this, the Findlay-Hancock County Community Foundation Universal Application. So the Universal Application, if you remember, requires one general letter of recommendation and one general essay. So it requires it requires a transcript and it requires a letter of recommendation. So it requires two pieces of information that are outside of you. You are requesting them from a third party. So this portion over here is going to show you that it requires two, but we have received 0. So tonight, for our purposes, we really haven't received any. So you'll be able to see, did you request it? Is the bottom number. Did we receive it? Is the top number. So if you see here, for this specific scholarship, we didn't have to request anything else. So we're good to go here. For this specific scholarship, I do need to do something because it says edit. If it's a letter of recommendation that's needed, once you request it, this will change to 1. And then once your letter of recommendation is received, this will change to 1.
Great. And another really good question that came in, is there any benefit to submitting the universal application earlier rather than just meeting the deadline?
Yes, please do. The benefit to that is really for processing and for your letters of recommendation and your transcript, to be able to help those people that you're asking you are asking them to help you with this process, to give them time to submit. The other thing is, as you can see, the universal application is really the first step of the process. Now it's a big step of the process, but once you get that done, if you can get that done sooner than later, then all of these additional materials that you need to submit, you'll have so much more time to do these additional materials. If you wait until January 30th, to submit your universal application, then essentially that means any of these individual scholarships that might require additional information, you're going to have 3 days to submit that additional information. Keeping in mind that your third parties, your transcript, your letters of recommendation that are coming from those third parties, they have until February 16th, but you really have until February 2nd to get both the universal application and the individual information for the scholarships in.
But as far as the review committees,
No,
it doesn't give you bonus points or anything like that.
it does not. It will just take the load off of your shoulders, but no, it does not give you a leg up in the evaluation process. They will be looking at academics, they will be looking at activities, they'll be looking at really what our donors who created these scholarships are looking for. So if they're looking for a student that is a hard worker, that has volunteered in this community and has kept a 3.0 GPA, then our evaluators are going to be looking at that. They're not going to maybe even see whether or not you submitted it in December or on January 30th.
That is all the questions for now.
Okay, very good. So we got through some questions. I just want to say thank you for participating in the webinar this evening. As you see, my email address is kind of all over the place in the application on your applicant dashboard. Please contact me if you have any questions. You can give me a call. I'm happy to walk you through that. And if you find that your people you've requested letters of recommendation for have questions, we are the people that are I am the person that's going to be supporting you. And we have a team of people here that support the scholarships, and we are here for you. So glad that you guys are going to be applying. Best of luck to you as you enter this process and as you're looking towards your future. We wish you all the best.